Hi, everybody. This is Jeffrey at Ripe Color, and my special guest this week.
Took us a while to get here, but we did
it. Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb. I don't think
I love you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. And this week, you ready? This is the magic part.
Yeah.
The Hermit. That's why I'm wearing gray. And you see, I have the light lit because there, I could be the Hermit there.
Exactly.
There. Okay.
Exactly. And, it's interesting that we're doing the Hermit because I feel like the Hermit, especially in the last 6 months and really, COVID and everything, but the last 4 months has been really, really going inside.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I know I'm supposed to be doing something bigger to help the world, and that's been revealed to me.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, the Hermit's so good for me. And also I live alone in this wonderful cabin, my mother's cabin in the woods. And I like my own company, Jeffrey.
I like my own company too.
Yeah, I'm never bored.
I identify. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And you were saying that it's funny how it turns out the guest you have to do a card is
It always ends up like that.
The perfect
card. It always
card.
ends up like that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a social introvert. I mean, I like going out and being with my friends. COVID is still very big here. In fact, bigger than it's ever been. On this island, we were kind of protected. But with these new variants, it's like wildfire. So I'm continuing to be a hermit because of that.
Well, I have to say here in Mexico City, people really do wear their masks, which is really,
wow.
It's nice. Oh yeah, people wear masks all over.
Yeah.
And when you get on the train or the bus, everyone's masked.
Yeah.
Maybe one person isn't, maybe.
Right.
But generally, even on the street, I usually wear my mask here.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
People are serious.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think we're about 50% here now, but
no, it's way more than 50% here. Way more.
But I noticed that it's the older people.
Yeah.
Am I part of that, Jeffrey? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't count.
But they're being smart, right?
I lost my counting ability.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I lost it at 39.
And then, then you can pretend you're dyslexic, So dyslexic works like if you're 41, right? Because then you get to be 14. Exactly. But then when you get to like be 49, it becomes 94. It doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work. No. And at my age right now, I don't want to I don't want to flip it. No, thank you very much.
At the beginning of a decade, it's perfect.
Exactly.
You can sound like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of a decade, it's not so good.
No, not so good.
Yeah. You have to be flexible.
It's just a number. I was, this is going back 20 years ago. And I had a new student. She was quite problematic. She really had behavior issues. So anyways, I get her. And the first day, I had to, I had to let her know where the size of the box was. And once she knew, she would skip down the hallway. She was so happy. She was so happy that I cared enough about her to set boundaries of, what she could and couldn't do, how she could behave or not behave. And anyways, I can always remember her because she's sitting, she's looking at me, and she puts her head to the side and she says, "Ms. Lee, how old are you in the real world?" And I totally got it, because in the classroom, I'm ageless. I'm funny. I'm young at heart. I love my students and that sort of thing. I totally got it. And I said, "Oh, 19, dear. I'm 19.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay.
Let us discuss the Hermit.
Yes.
Okay.
The Hermit.
The Hermit.
Fascinating card.
It's a fascinating card.
Fascinating card.
Fascinating. And it's number 9. So you're my guest. So why don't you tell me what your interpretation is, what your feeling is, what your experience is with
We know that in numerology, number 9. Yes.
uh,
Okay. There's the lantern.
yeah.
And look at the light. I'm getting the light from the lantern.
Oh.
Big lantern in the sky. And you, oh, what was I going to say?
9.
9. Thank you. Thank you. Well, 9 in numerology is like, you're a master, right? You know it all. And 9 is incredible. In fact, 9 is kind of the end of the journey. Like you
Right.
achieve mastery. So
Attainment.
that's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting that this is number 9. So, the interesting thing about the hermit is now he's holding the lantern, but the lantern only illuminates as far as taking a step. And he's in the dark, even though this doesn't look very dark. He's in the dark, and it only illuminates his journey one step at a time. The journey is not revealed. The spiritual journey is not revealed all at once. It's just you have to take that step. You have to be willing to take that step to see what's next. And so, of course, in here I'm in the middle of the forest, and I have to use a lantern or a flashlight. And it's right. You're only illuminated so far. So yeah, he has to. A journey is not revealed to him all at once. He has to trust and take that step. Yeah. And the other thing is the staff that he's holding. That represents authority and guidance and that sort of thing. The hermit's also about going within.
Absolutely.
And trusting your intuition.
Yep.
Trusting the universe, the spirit. And also, this could be like, especially like in politics, if you're doing a political reading, it could be he's shedding light on some dark secret or something that's been hidden. Right.
So, traditionally, it's funny. I have her right here because I started doing shorts.
Yeah.
So she, a lot of times, the high priestess is like keeping. Yes. Right. Many times, not always, but many, many times she's like behind the veil. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. And here he is.
Here he is, revealing just a little bit at a time. Shedding light on something hidden. I'm just looking at some notes that I wrote down. The thing is about the illumination of just a step forward is that you have to step forward. You can't stay back. You have to take that step.
He'll freeze on that mountain if he doesn't step forward.
Exactly. Oh, and you mentioned, yes, exactly. And you mentioned the mountains. That is his accomplishment. His mastery on his spiritual journey. So I mean, he's a wise guy.
Absolutely.
He's full of wisdom. Maybe I should say not a wise guy.
Exactly. Well, maybe a little bit of both.
Maybe, but also it's soul searching, introspection. Going inside, reflecting. The reverse of this can be like isolation, withdrawal. So
but it is very much a solo card.
It's absolutely
very,
solo.
very much. This is not about, in my interpretation, it's like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? That's not where the answer is.
No. Yes, it is. Yeah. In fact, it's the path of self-mastery. So, and of course, I have many different decks that show you different images, and I'm guided to whatever deck I need to do for a reading or for a particular question. But I really identify with the hermit because I really am a hermit. But I love people too. So I have my times of introspection, and as I said, particularly the last 4 months, I've even as I think I've told you, I retired 3 years ago officially from teaching, but I've been filling in because there's shortage of teacher. I've been working way too much. And of course I do my gig and then I come back and I recharge by being by myself. That's really important for me. I have to recharge. Some people recharge, like extroverts recharge by being around people.
Right.
But I'm not. I'm actually an introvert, but I'm a social introvert. I do like being around people, but then I have to withdraw because it does tire me out.
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
interesting that you should say that also, because in a lot of ways, also the hermit really represents the scholar,
Yes.
the search for knowledge,
Yes, absolutely.
being alone.
That's right.
It's almost like Isaac Newton,
Yes. And
right?
when you said scholar, yes, I've even, this needs further study,
Mhm.
or lights being shed on this. I mean, there's all sorts of meanings that I can, and
Mhm.
of course I know the meanings, but I read intuitively.
Right.
And so it can say, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the hermit
Yeah.
because I am one.
Yeah. I find it also really fascinating because because we're going through the deck, Zero
Mhm,
Tuesdays. So
mhm.
every other card has so much symbolism. And this is like, it's really pared down. It's really,
Yes.
really pared down, which is
Yeah.
also really interesting. It's like, no, you're not going to find the answer in the symbolism so much. I see, to me, my understanding of the hermit is that it's the light of his soul that's leading him.
Yes.
It's the light
Exactly.
of his own soul that's leading him. It's his
Exactly.
own intuitive voice. It's his own
Yes.
get quiet, find the answer,
Yes.
no matter how long you have to look, and allowing his own light or her own light to
Yeah.
lead them through the darkness of
Hmm.
what they don't understand, what isn't
Yes.
revealed,
Yeah.
because, like when you're in the dark, you become much more, your other senses become more hypersensitive,
Exactly.
and we were talking about it earlier. And, this is also, it's the card of Virgo. So
Hmm.
there's an interesting element to it in that for me, all the opposite signs really form a whole. So that's
Yes.
true of all the signs, Aries, Libra, it goes all the way through the whole
Hmm.
thing. Scorpio,
Hmm.
Taurus, Leo, Aquarius. So
And
there's an
what Pisces, is
Pisces,
Pisces
Virgo,
Virgo, right?
Pisces,
Right, right.
Virgo.
Well, see, and
So,
Pisces can be a real loner too.
right. And
Yeah.
profoundly intuitive,
Yes.
deeply, profoundly intuitive.
Yeah. I
Right.
think I live in my inner world more than I do the outer world, especially
Yeah.
these last, number of months.
Yeah. The other thing that also has come to me lately is that if you look really closely, it's I feel like if I don't put on my glasses, you
There's a
can't see
star
it.
in there.
That's right.
Yep.
So the star is really, this is really interesting. So the star
Hmm.
is the energy, it's the pyramid this way and the pyramid that way, basically.
Right.
And
Right.
that represents the merkabah. The merkabah is the energy of really the light from heaven and the light from earth combining, right? And the merkabah is understood as the vehicle. So that's what I think Ezekiel saw it. The merkabah is the rakevet, is the vehicle of the soul to take you into the other realms.
It's interesting that you mentioned soul because I just thought of the dark night of the soul. This can be this too, Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I know it's challenge for a lot of people, like I have a real interior life too, and I like to spend a
Mhm.
lot of time alone as well. And I kind of always have in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Um, for a lot of people, this is a real challenge. It's like, oh, well,
Yes.
my friend has the answer, or this amount of money is the answer, or that house, or that job, or la la
Yeah.
la. And it's like,
Yeah.
and what this is saying, it's like,
The answer is within.
yeah. And it's like, and you're going to have to go there alone. You're going to have to
Absolutely.
go there alone and really discover and listen and
To who
hear.
you are.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah.
I also go back to the fascinating story of Demeter, right? Demeter is just fascinating. So Demeter is the fertility goddess.
Hmm.
She's the oldest of the gods, aside from Aphrodite. Aphrodite is a whole different animal, a
Oh
whole
yeah,
different
definitely.
goddess.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Demeter is the oldest of them, right? And then Hades comes and takes Persephone into the netherworld, into here.
Hmm.
And she's not waiting. She's like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? You think she's going to ask Zeus, her younger brother, who's the
Yeah.
king of the gods, for
Right.
permission? She goes to hell herself. And she demands demands, right? There's that energy of, I'm going to go to the place that no one goes. I'm going to, I'm unafraid, and I'm going to go into the dark to retrieve my light. Because at the end of the day, I had it written down somewhere. The true energy of the Virgo, like the occult energy of the Virgo, is mother and child is one.
Oh.
And her job is to protect. It's even in the glyph.
Yes,
It's the understanding is I'm protecting my light. That's why Virgo has an energy of meticulousness. Because when a mother is protecting her child, there's the exactness is very, very important. Where exactly is it? At 2 o'clock, it's eating time.
Yes, I was just thinking that the schedule.
There's that schedule. There's that. This is the way it's going to be, because it's coming from a mental place, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's coming from an organizational mental place.
Right.
And it's like, this is my light. And the mother energy, the virgin energy, in a way, it's kind of weird. But the mother energy is, my purpose is to protect the light. My purpose is to protect the light.
Interesting you say that, because I just got the image of, there's in caveman days, there was the keeper of the fire.
Right.
Keeper of
Right.
So you could say that's what that is too.
Right.
Keeper of the light.
Right. And the light is the light of our soul.
Yes.
It's bigger than being human. It's bigger than being a husband or a wife or a daughter or a mother. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than being whatever your occupation is, whatever your nationality. It's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, to understand and to allow the light of one's own soul to lead you in the time of darkness.
Yes.
There's really a lot going on in this card.
Right. And the fact
even
that,
though there's like no symbolism or hardly any.
You have to trust, because the lantern is just lighting just ahead of you. That first step, you've got to take that first step. You've got to trust. And you got to trust that things are going to be revealed to you bit by bit. And that's exactly what's been happening to me in these last sort of 4 months. It's been revealed to me bit by bit.
Right.
And but I knew something big. I knew I was supposed to be doing like even bigger than YouTube. Doing YouTube is I knew
bigger than YouTube.
Oh well, yeah. Wait, what
revelation?
Isn't YouTube the universe? Yeah, so it's been revealed to me that I'm supposed to be writing the spiritual book. I've already done the outline and started. And
is it going to be gold? And when you open it up, all this like sparkly stuff comes out?
Yes, absolutely. I just got a flash.
See?
It's a handbook. It's a manual. It revealed to you how you can find your spiritual path. In fact, without going too much, I see it as a metaphor of a garden. It's your spiritual garden. And anyways, I'm done the outline, and every time a thought hits me, I put it down. But yeah, I'm going to help people get here, be introspective and do things on their own, not depending on everybody else.
Right.
And not being totally stuck in the 3D world.
Right.
We're not just the 3D world. So much of us is part of, spirit, part of the universe. There's a whole big universe out there. But you notice when you look out at night, it's dark. And so you're just going to have to go step by step with your lantern and discover yourself, discover a whole universe of possibilities.
Yeah.
And not be afraid.
Yeah.
The light is the lantern is, that light. It's helping you like a child who needs that little nightlight.
Mhm.
It's your security, and it's spirit saying, it's okay, I've got you.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you should talk about the light, and light in the dark is
In the
different
dark, yeah,
than being in the daytime. And
totally different.
so in a certain way, because we were talking about Pisces as well, the card of Pisces is the moon. So there's an interesting little thing going on there too. We're getting more and more as we sit here.
I know. I know. I just have, I went, because last night the moon was really bright. But so the moon, maybe I'll just draw a picture. I can't remember exactly what, I might have it backwards, but anyways, you got the moon. But over here, no, I'm not an artist. But in the night sky, I have this skylight, up in my bedroom, and my bedroom upstairs is it's the roof, right? The pitched roof. And anyways, doesn't matter. On this side, there's a big skylight.
Mhm.
And I'm in my bed and I can look out there and I see I see the tops of the trees and there's a bright moon. But there was this very, very bright star last night that I've never seen before, at least not aware.
Well, it might have
was
been one of the
so-
planets.
I think it was a planet, but
It might have been
but-
Venus. I think Venus is the brightest in the night sky.
Yeah, well, the thing is, of course, we had cloudy weather and stuff like that, but last night it was clear, and this light was so big and so bright.
Hmm.
It's interesting that yeah. So I think I was definitely meant to see that last night. So there's that. Also, here's another metaphor. The moon can be, the big bright light of the city and the 3D world, right? But you have to remember that you're going through this journey on your own.
Right.
Right? You are the bright light.
Right.
Illuminating your journey.
Right. Right.
In fact, I was so fascinated that I took out my binoculars and took a look at it. Yeah, but I was meant to see that last night. It was pretty awesome. It was so, I was just so amazed at this, as you say, planet, how bright it was next to that big
Mhm.
bright moon.
Well, I think they're all aligned right now. There are like 5 or 6
Yeah.
of them aligned right now. And they say
Yeah.
with binoculars, you can see, binocular telescope, you can see
Right.
even, I think even Uranus and Neptune. It's like,
Right.
it's really like that.
I need to get a telescope because it's fascinating because I can see a lot of stars here,
Hmm.
being in the middle of the
Yeah,
forest.
well, Mexico City has that city thing. So,
Yeah,
there's no,
exactly.
you see the moon, you see the sun. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've seen a few stars here, but not, it's like New York, big cities are like that.
Yeah. My daughter, when she was 7, my brother-in-law flew her to Mexico City because he was marrying a woman from Mexico City. And I think my daughter got kind of overwhelmed because she's been brought up on this island.
It's a very overwhelming place. That's why I like it.
It was very overwhelming for her.
Yeah, it's a very overwhelming place.
Yeah, and my sister-in-law was, we couldn't afford to go to the wedding. And so what they did was Lauren was their flower girl.
Mhm.
So they flew her out. And if we went, it meant it's going to be the 4 of us, it's going to be my husband and I and my 2 daughters. It just was too much of a big expense. We just couldn't do it at that time.
Mm.
But my sister-in-law described, she said, in the house, it was a big house, she said, TVs are going blaring. Nobody's watching them, but it's just blaring really loud.
Yeah, it's very loud here.
She said the noise.
And I live on a major avenue.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and the avenues here are 6 or 8 lanes big.
Wow.
And it's like a highway.
Is it totally full of traffic, or is it just, wow.
Cars, trucks.
Are they honking a lot?
They don't honk that much here. They don't honk that much here.
That's great.
Yeah, they really don't. But there are people like hawking their goods all over the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it could be very loud. It could be
Mhm.
very loud. You just have to get
Mhm.
used. I mean, that's living in a city.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and also, you know, I'm sure it's the same situation. Look, I lived on an avenue in Manhattan, and we had trucks and, you know, the whole thing, but I lived in the
Yeah.
back of the building. So I think the key here is just like the key in New York. It's like you live in the back, you don't hear a
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, eventually I'll find a place that's in the back.
Well, you know, in the first years of our marriage, we were on a very busy street. There was this. I mean, it wasn't, there wasn't a line down the street. It wasn't paved, so it was really, it looks like a side street. But these semi trucks all day long going down this avenue, because it led to what was called the Heatley overpass, which went into the waterfront. So the
Mhm.
trucks, yeah, so they're taking, you know, stuff for it to be shipped. And also we lived a, a block away from an ambulance station,
Mhm.
and then another few blocks away, a fire station.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We had noises going all the time, and you're right, you do get used to it.
Yeah.
One night though,
I'm fine. I'm definitely finding a quieter apartment next time. I already booked it.
oh good.
Because at
One
night
night,
it's a little bit much.
yeah, I bet. At night, you know, it would quiet down, except, you know, for example, the ambulance and the fire, you know, I might wake up and go, oh, ambulance, but then go right back to sleep.
Hmm.
Right. And it didn't disturb my sleep. But one night, going down the alley, which was below our bedroom window, I heard two guys whispering. Boom. I was awake. And what they were doing was on this trolley, or maybe it was shopping carts, I can't remember, but they had these two big, humongous speakers. They had broken into the chapel, a church up the block,
Oh,
and stole their sound system.
oh, how awful.
And so I phoned the police and said, you know, I
That's
think
awful.
I know, isn't that awful? But isn't that interesting though, that the whispering?
Right. Well, you know, it's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
because here sometimes I hear people in the building, and from far away, you know, it's like, you know, it's people talking, and sometimes you could distinguish, you know, if it's a man or a woman or something. But you know, from far away, you think you know, it's like, oh, I think they're speaking English, but you know, but
Yeah.
it's like they could be speaking, you know, Swahili for all I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very interesting. And it's funny we should talk about that, because I think part of the energy of the hermit is that you sit still long enough. And if
Yes.
you have a desire to find the light and to be guided by the light,
Yes.
then there'll be whispers, there'll be
Yes.
understandings, you know,
Yes.
and eventually you'll be able to distinguish whether they are talking Swahili or not. I had a past life.
Well, I know. I mean, I've been, I mean, as we were talking earlier, I've kind of really pulled back from YouTube and only doing it once a week. And now I'm getting into it again. But I needed to pull back, and because I need to hear that whispering voice.
Mhm.
And because the voice was saying to me, but it couldn't quite, you know, you got something bigger to do
Right.
as well. And I knew that, I could feel it. And I was, you know, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Right.
So yeah, so I did have to really retreat from everybody,
Yeah. And
which was easy to
also,
do because, you know, COVID's still rampant here. And listen.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, that, you know, so the hermit is really about, you know, finding the knowledge, taking the time, understanding that it'll be revealed as it's revealed in the time it's supposed to be revealed. Because sometimes you just get a little piece, a little piece, a
That's
little
right.
piece. It's kind of like, in a way,
It's only fed to you. The spirit feeds it to you a little bit at a
right,
time.
right,
Because, you know, if you saw the whole thing right away, you could be overwhelmed
yeah,
and go, oh,
right,
turn the light out.
right,
I'm afraid.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. What a
I
great
know.
card.
What a
But
great
also the
card.
interesting thing too about it, I mean, on occasion, it also, I'm the same way you are. Like I read as I, like,
Mhm.
sometimes it might be, oh, you need to go out and get a robe. But it could also, because there's snow on the ground, it could be a card of winter.
Do you know what I almost did? I almost thought, oh, I feel like being Danny Shea right now, and come on in my bathrobe, and it's
See?
gray. It's gray.
See? That's why I'm wearing the gray.
I know, and I almost did, and it was a gift. Like I wouldn't choose gray, but yeah, it's
And
perfect.
gray,
My hermit
interestingly,
robe.
is the color that is both black and white. It's really in
Yes.
between. It's the in between.
Right.
Which way is it going to go? Which way is it going to go?
Right.
So
You're
that's
giving me so many other nuances about it, because I could.
Ooh.
Well, you're good at that. I mean, I've noticed in your readings over, as long as I've known you, the nuances you get from each card. Like you only use the Rider-Waite because you get so many nuances with it.
Yeah, well, also it's like, well, I go from apartment to apartment here. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
bought a steamer, right? I'm
Yeah.
probably going to end up buying an iron. Like now I need a new computer, and it's like there's so much crap to carry. So actually, I have a friend here, and before I go back to New York, it's like, can you just keep this stuff for me? Because it's like I can't take all of it back with me. And part of me wants to send. There are some clothes that I have that I don't really. I think I should just dump them. To tell you the truth. It's like, oh, I'll send them back.
Yeah, I need to do a big
I'm just
purge,
going to dump.
clothing, everything.
I think I'm just going to dump them. Because it's like you don't use it, you don't wear it, don't.
I got
Maybe
another
also,
flash.
you know what? Maybe that's what. Yeah, go ahead.
I got another flash. Yeah, like simplicity.
Yeah.
Like pare your life down.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And that's the other part of my journey of going within is, I'm in a small cabin, but I really need to purge. I really need to simplify my life about my material things.
Mhm.
Although I'm not really a material person, but there is too much here. Like there's still teaching stuff that I've hung on to
Right.
because I was filling in. And so now I can do a big purge.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that I was looking online. I've been trying to find some bags for my motorcycle, my saddlebags. They're so expensive, and getting the racks to put them on are so expensive. Anyways, I found bags that are made for my bike. Like I've got a Triumph, and it's a classic. Where have you ever heard of the Triumph Bonneville, like the T100?
No, I've heard of Triumph. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
I don't even know how to drive.
right.
I
I love driving.
That's the other reason I love it here, because like there's a really great bus network.
Yeah.
And there's a big
bet.
subway.
Yeah.
So, and I take the subway or the train a lot of places, and it's like by American standards, it's like 15 cents or something.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that when we went to Mexico, but we went to the West Coast, and we got around by bus, and it was cheap. It was great.
Yeah. So you got your Triumph.
So I've got my Triumph, and I saw this ad for it, and this is the traditional sort of classic saddlebags, right? And I went, oh, and to get them now. This is Canadian, but it would be over $1,000. I mean, motorcycle gear is so expensive. It's just a ripoff. But anyways, the bags plus the metal sort of rack that you put it against on your bike would be over $1,000 Canadian. And this guy, he says, I've had it my bike 2 trips, and I took them off. I want a different look for my bike, and he's selling them for $300. So I went, oh.
So maybe this is the message.
No, hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. So I sent, my replied, and he said, yeah, he says, I'll hold them for you. And right after we decided on the date and moving, I get an email. I was for pet sitting. It's going to pay for most of those saddlebags. Like bang, got it from the universe.
That's what happens when you sit still. and allow the light to guide you.
Exactly.
That $40,000 sable coat.
My
For 15 bucks.
my
For
grandmother
15
had,
bucks.
yeah, my grandmother had a mink coat. Yeah. Yeah, back in the 60s, right? 50s, 60s, she had her coat. I thought they were always gross, actually.
They're warm though.
Oh, I bet it'd be warm.
Oh,
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
And
are warm.
she had a coat and she had a stole, a mink stole.
Yeah, everybody had a stole then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I know we could go on and on about this.
I
Like
know.
I've had so many things revealed by being quiet because as I said, I've stopped teaching altogether. You know, even though I retired 3 years ago, I've been filling in. It's been way
Mhm.
too much. But I've been forced to be really quiet.
Mhm. And I think it's also, also what I'm getting right now is like there's an energy there of be patient. It'll come when it
It
comes,
comes. Yeah.
because it's attainment. So, if you look at all the other nines, um, there's an energy really,
Right.
so let's say, okay, I
Yeah,
have
the
this
Nine of Pentacles.
fantasy, right? I want to have a house and I want it to be furnished and I want this and I want that.
Mhm.
It's like, it takes time.
It does.
It takes time.
It's interesting you say that because as a young adult, I had friends that were getting loans. They were getting all this beautiful furniture and they were furnishing their house like now and getting in terrific debt. And I thought, it's funny. I was an old soul. I know I'm an old soul, and I looked at that and I went, like they're trying to have what their parents have. And I'm thinking, yeah, but your parents, it took years and years and years of acquiring stuff. And it was not on credit. You didn't have credit back then. You had to pay as you go. You had to save the money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to pull that out. It's interesting you say about the nine. So it's the Nine of Cups.
Right. Attaining your wishes.
Yeah. And then you
Right.
got the Nine of Pentacles.
Right, who is the lady of luxury and
Yeah.
who's on her own, who worked on her own to attain
Yeah.
that. Right.
Exactly.
It's a
And
that's a very entrepreneurial card.
yes. Oh, yeah. Their others are hidden way down here.
I know, I was looking for certain cards today because I was doing these shorts and I was like, I'm only looking for the one card. I had to go through the deck like 3 times.
I'm missing a card.
Well, no, you have the 9 of Swords, right?
Yeah.
The one in bed. So,
Oh, no,
that's
here it is. The nine of Wands. There we
the
go.
9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Wands is an interesting card. For me, the 9 of Wands is like he's sort of surrounded, right? And it's almost like time stands still. He has to stand and sit and really,
Exactly.
really look at what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm at this place in battle. Should I continue this battle or have I learned my lesson?
Exactly.
Right? So that card is always like, should I stay or should I go? And it's also, there's also that energy from Martha and the Vandellas.
Yes.
Nowhere to run to,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowhere to hide. Like, I got to deal with this and I got to deal with this now.
Exactly.
Right? And then the 9 of Swords, who's the guy in bed, distraught. And the 9 of Swords is really like,
yeah, there we go. I got it.
this
Funny.
truth to me. The 9 of Swords has this energy is, I can't unsee this truth any longer.
Yes.
I cannot unsee this truth any longer. I really know what went
I
wrong.
love that. I am going to.
I know what's bothering me. I know what's distressing. I cannot unsee this any longer. It's right in front of me.
Oh, I
Even
love
in
that,
me.
Jeffrey. I
Yeah.
wrote it down.
Yeah, it's a really powerful card.
Mhm.
So, I mean, for me, sometimes, the 9 of Swords, even though a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's the dark night of the soul. It's, sleeplessness. It's sometimes
Anxiety.
sometimes, right, anxiety. Sometimes we need to get to that place of,
Yes.
I'm so uncomfortable that I've got to do something now.
Exactly.
I've got to do something because the denial is broken. It's the same thing with the guy who's surrounded. It's like, it's like, you got to make a decision, bro.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
got to make a decision,
mhm.
right? And they're all very alone in all those cards. Even the
Yes.
lady in the garden, who's a lovely card.
Yeah, yeah, I love
She's
it.
in a walled garden. She built her own little thing.
Mhm.
So there could be a sense of isolation in that card as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
The other
fascinating.
thing that strikes me about this one is, you said, when I can't unsee it, I can't unsee the truth. It is like, oh, I see what I've been doing.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Right.
And you know what? Part of this being, and we're getting back to the hermit, that's what it's been revealed to me as well.
Right.
Oh, that's why that keeps happening.
Yeah. The whole enchilada.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. Because honestly, that's why I like it down here so much. Because for me, it's this tremendously abundant place. So it's
Yes.
abundant in like the amount of art and the architecture and
Yes.
the amount of flowers and the trees and da da da. But it's also abundant in its poverty. It's abundant in its
Mhm.
resilience. It's
Mhm.
abundant in its joy. It's abundant in everything.
Yeah, and you've got that dichotomy of the poor and then the really rich.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an area called Polanco.
Mhm.
And it's not even like the Upper East Side. It's Beverly Hills, honey.
Oh, I bet.
It is Beverly Hills. And it's like, oh, and Mexico City is an enormous, enormous city. Like New York City is the largest city by far in the United States. Mexico City is nearly double that size.
Oh, wow.
And there are so many neighborhoods
Is
here.
New York like, is it 10 million or 20 million?
No, New York is only 8 million, but the
Oh, 8 million. Oh,
metropolitan
okay.
area of New York is 20 million.
Oh, okay. That must be what I'm
Right.
thinking of. Yeah.
And then like the Boss Wash, which is Boston, New York, Philadelphia,
Washington. Yeah.
Baltimore, even, Newark,
DC. Yeah.
Providence, Rhode Island, they're all kind of thrown in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Washington, Wilmington, Delaware, that's like 50 million.
Mhm.
That's like 50. It's like one big city, basically. And then Mexico City supposedly is 20 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where I got the 20 from too, is Mexico. I'd love to. I've always wanted to go there.
Well, once I have my hacienda.
Oh, Jeffrey, it's on my
Hacienda,
bucket list.
hacienda is like a ranch house, like they have horses and stuff. So they're usually outside of the city, but it's like,
Yeah, of course.
I could see a couple of blocks that can be knocked down to build my hacienda.
Yeah.
I don't even want the
And the
horse.
thing is, being a Pisces, as a guest, I'll let you have your space. Like when we need it, we can just withdraw and be on our own.
Well,
I'm
if
good at
the
that.
hacienda is going to be so large, I'm going to need a horse to get from one end to the other. Anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to have one of those fake horses that the kids put the nickel in.
Yes.
Shows you my age.
And,
yeah.
Oh, mine too. Yeah.
So yeah, on a track.
Yeah. Oh, love it. Love it.
Okay.
Okay.
The noise and everything.
Okay. Pencil me down. No, put in ink. Okay. Let's see. November.
The weather's always beautiful here. It doesn't matter.
November 26, 2023.
Perfect.
I don't know why I pulled that number out, but there you go.
So anyway, darlings,
Yes.
we hope we gave you some interesting and unusual and insightful and scholarly revelations.
Yes. Yes, that's another one. Revelation. I've had quite a few in these last 4 months. Revelations.
Yeah. Yeah. And the revelation would be.
This is my card. I'm glad you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you said revelation, because when we talked about the moon, and even, I guess that's how I work with cards. It's like,
I know. I couldn't believe how bright that
there's
planet
like
was.
a certain revelation in the moon as well.
Yes.
So that is the energy.
Well, even the phases of the moon, like you starting with a sliver, and then it changes. It's revealing itself bit by bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow, this has been amazing, Jeffrey.
I know. So thank you very much for being my guest, and please subscribe and watch Strawberry Rhubarb. I've never had a strawberry rhubarb pie in my life.
Oh, well, I chose the name in homage to my grandmother and my mother because they made these incredible strawberry rhubarb pies from fresh rhubarb in the garden.
Yeah.
And also, coming from nasty women, strawberries sweet and rhubarb is tart. So, I'm both things, right? I'm sweet and I'm tart. Not a tart, mind you. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. This has just it's been wonderful.
It's a pleasure. Now I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll consider chitter chatter. But
yeah.
In order to stop the recording, I better put on my glasses because otherwise, who knows what.
I love your glasses. What a great color.
Thank you.